Hey everyone, Theo here. Today I'm comparing the XPPen Magic Drawing Pad 2025 with the Wacom MovinkPad 11, which was also released in 2025. So these are Android tablets with pen support, and they are designed for drawing purposes. At the time of making this video, the XPPen Magic Drawing Pad is selling at $499 US. And right now there is a coupon code where you can get $100 off this price, so you can get this tablet now at $400 US. For the Wacom MovinkPad 11, this is selling at $449 US. The pens, by the way, are included with the purchase. If you're watching this video from Singapore, these two tablets are also available from Shopee SG, and the Wacom tablet is currently under pre-order status. In preparation to make this video, I had already made some notes on the various differences between these two tablets, and you can see the differences are marked out with the star, and there are many differences. In case you're wondering why there's no wallpaper on the Wacom tablet, well, the Wacom tablet came like this without any wallpaper. Let's start by looking at the items included with the purchase. So the pens are included. There is also a charging cable. Now for the XPPen tablet, you also get a charger, and there is an artist glove. And you also get this case that is included. Now this case only protects the back of the tablet and not the front. For the Wacom tablet, the case is not included, and this is the official flip case with the cloth or canvas cover. And this is sold separately for 60 Singapore dollars or around 40 to 50 US dollars. By the way, third-party cases are available for the Wacom tablet, but not for the XPPen tablet, if I remember correctly. Let's look at the design. So at a glance, these two tablets actually look kind of similar, but there are actually many subtle differences. So the main difference is the XPPen has a larger display. This is a 12.2-inch LCD. The resolution is 2160 by 1440. The aspect ratio is 3:2. And the refresh rate is 60 Hz. For the Wacom MovinkPad 11, this is an 11.5-inch LCD. And the resolution is 2200 by 1440. And the aspect ratio is around 3:2. The refresh rate is 90 Hz, so animation like pan, zoom, and rotate will look slightly smoother on the Wacom tablet. Both tablets have rounded corners for the body and the LCD. The XPPen tablet has bevel edges for all the four edges, and this is an angular bevel. And you can see there are pogo pin connectors here for use with an external keyboard case, which is sold separately. For the Wacom, the sides are completely flat, and this is more matte textured. The sides here are smoother, and there are no pogo pin connectors. Now on the back, they both have one camera. The XPPen has a flash here, and there is a camera bump. There is no flash for the Wacom camera, but this does not have a camera bump. And on the back of the Wacom, there are four little rubber feet. So without the camera bump, you can actually place this tablet completely flat on the table, and there will be no wobble when you're writing or drawing. Now with the camera bump here, if you have this on the table, there is going to be some wobble. The four rubber feet on the back of the Wacom are actually kind of small. I had one viewer who told me that he or she already has some scratches on the back of the tablet because he or she placed the tablet like this, and the back is very near the table, so it created some scratches. So if you want to prevent scratches, you can buy cases. There's a landscape camera on both tablets, and on the XPPen there is this additional camera, probably for face unlock, and face unlock works well on the XPPen. There is no face unlock on the Wacom, and there is also no fingerprint scanner on the Wacom. There's no fingerprint scanner on the XPPen as well, but at least there is still face unlock. So when unlocking the Wacom, it's more inconvenient because you have to type in the pin. And there is this auto brightness sensor on both tablets, and auto brightness works well. So when you hold the tablet or work with the tablet in portrait orientation and you're drawing, and your hand is here, your hand will not cover the auto brightness sensor. So that is good. On the XPPen, there are 4 speakers and the audio actually sounds alright. And there is this micro SD card slot here for storage expansion. The USB-C port here supports this feature called DisplayPort In. So this XPPen tablet has this DisplayPort In feature, which is quite a rare feature. So when you connect this tablet to your computer using a USB-C video cable, you can use this tablet as an external display, like a cable external monitor. The pen will work. In this case, pressure does not work for this specific app, but pressure does work for other apps that I've tested. Finger gestures, still work, interestingly, but finger gestures may or may not work depending on the app you use. So right now, this is the external display for my laptop, and if you go into the settings, in this case, the Windows settings. So right now, this is in duplicate mode or mirror mode. You can also choose to extend the displays. So this is the extended desktop mode. Let's revert. Or you can choose to use this as your main display for the laptop. So the main advantage here is with this setup, you can actually use your desktop drawing apps. For example, you can use Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Rebella, Corel Painter on the XPPen tablet, because now this is the pen display. You can even power off the XPPen tablet and use it as a screenless drawing tablet for your computer. The Wacom tablet has 4 sets of speaker grills, but there are only 2 speakers and the audio sounds hollow. And this USB-C port is only for charging. The transfer speed is just USB 2 and this cannot output video. And there is no micro SD card slot, so you have to work with the 128 gigabytes of storage with this tablet. The build quality for both tablets is good. The weight of the XPPen is 599 grams. For the Wacom, it's 588 grams, so the weight is quite similar. Both are quite portable. They are big tablets. The display is noticeably larger than an A5 size sketchbook, which is about this size. So the 12.2 inch is actually even larger than A5 size sketchbook. Okay, let's talk about the display. So let me just open up a wallpaper. Both tablets use LCD, and the quality of the LCD is actually pretty good. The brightness for the XPPen is up to 360 nits. For the Wacom is up to 400 nits. Let me just increase the brightness to the max right now. Okay, so from what I can see, the Wacom does look brighter, but the XPPen is very bright. And both tablets are bright enough for use in a bright room environment. And the color quality for both tablets, for both LCD, is really good. Not having OLED is not a downside, because for me, I actually prefer LCD, because LCDs, they look better at lower brightness. Speaking of brightness, both displays are bright, but they will not be bright enough for use under direct sunlight or near sunlight. But for indoor use, bright indoor use, no problem. Okay, let me show you the color quality. So as I tilt the XPPen, do you notice there is this shift in brightness? So let me tilt both tablets. Yeah, there's a more noticeable shift with the brightness, probably due to the type of panel, the LCD panel. And for the Wacom, the visual quality looks better. There is no obvious, there is still the IPS glow, but It's not as obvious compared to the XPPen Magic Drawing Pad. Anyway, both tablets have very wide viewing angles, so you don't really see much color shift when viewing the display at wide angle. And as I move down, I can see the IPS glow, which is more obvious on the XPPen. Anyway, both tablets, the visual quality on both tablets look really good. And they are sharp with no pixelation noticeable from working distance away. Both tablets have this matte glass surface and there is effective anti-glare, so the matte surface is able to diffuse the reflection quite well, and you can still see what's on the display very clearly. I would say maybe the matte glass quality is slightly better on the Wacom. Both displays are laminated, so there is almost no gap between the line and the pen tip when drawing. Both tablets use the Helio G99 processor and have 8 gigs of RAM. The performance of both tablets is going to be quite similar, and even though the Helio G99 processor is not that powerful, it is still more than powerful enough to run drawing apps. I did not test the drawing apps intensively though, so I cannot tell you how many layers you can create when you have huge files and many layers. But based on my experience so far, the drawing apps are able to run quite smoothly. Anyway, my style is just line art and flat colors, so it's not going to be that taxing on the processor. 8 gigs of RAM is good. You can multitask. You can have split window with both tablets. If you open many apps, you can keep the apps in memory. But if you open an old app from a long time ago, there is a good chance that the app will reload or redraw. Other than that, I don't really have any complaints about the processor. You can play some games, but don't expect to play games at the highest graphics settings. Let's talk about the OS and software. So both tablets are running on Android 14, and there is no guarantee you will get future Android OS updates. The UI for both tablets is pretty much stock Android, so there aren't many features. But there is Google Play Store, so you can always install an app to get whatever feature you want. For bloatware, I don't really see any bloatware, so all these apps were actually installed by me. So it's great that there is no bloatware for both tablets. Let's talk about the pens. Both pens use EMR technology, so there is no battery in the pens, so no charging is required, and you do not need to pair the pens with the tablet for any connection. So with the Wacom Pro Pen 3, there are 3 side buttons, and whether they are customizable or not will depend on the app you use. With the XPPen X3 Pro Slim Pen, there are 2 side buttons on the pen, and same thing, whether the buttons are customizable will depend on the app you use. Both pens have this matte textured surface, which is quite comfortable to hold, and there is good grip for both pens. The Wacom pen is kind of slim, and the XPPen is also a slim pen, but it's slightly thicker, and both pens are lightweight, and the build quality for both pens is quite good. With the Wacom pen, you can turn the back, and this will open up, and you can find this storage area for 3 replacement pen tips. And if you pull this out, you can get this pen nib remover. With the XPPen, you can also twist or turn the back to open this. The pen tip remover for the XPPen is in the box. It is quite convenient to have the pen tip remover with the pen itself, and also with the pen tips with the pen itself. Now, one downside to this design is when I hold a pen like this, there is a tendency for this part of my hand to unscrew the back, so I have to turn this really tight to prevent that from happening. And this is not a problem with the XPPen because this is much further back. The Wacom pen supports 8,000 levels of pressure sensitivity, tilt, and palm rejection, and all three work really well. The XPPen supports 16,000 levels of pressure sensitivity. There is tilt sensitivity advertised, but it doesn't work well, and palm rejection doesn't work that well either. And if you look at the front of the pen, there is this tapered design, but this tapered design is not as tapered compared to the Wacom, which is a straight taper. So this design, together with the pen tip, which is more protruded, which extends out a bit more, allows you to tilt the pen low, much lower, to get the tilt effect, which works really well. Anyway, since the tilt sensitivity doesn't work that well on the XPPen, this design looks alright, it's alright. There is slight movement with the pen tip when in contact with the drawing surface, but it's not much. And now let's talk about the drawing experience. So the drawing experience is better on the Wacom tablet because there is good support for pressure, tilt, and palm rejection. With the XPPen, there is good support for pressure, but tilt doesn't work that well, and palm rejection is not as good compared to the XPPen. Now, in terms of the line quality you can actually create really expressive lines with both pens because they both support pressure really well. So let me just disable the colors to show you the line art for some sketches that I have here. So I am able to get thin and thick lines very easily with the XPPen pen. So I can draw thin lines, thick lines, and there is no diagonal line wobble. So the performance is actually quite consistent, quite predictable with the XPPen. I do use tilt brushes, so the lack of tilt is an inconvenience for me, but it's not too bad. It's not like a deal breaker, but I would prefer to have a pen that actually supports tilt sensitivity. Okay, for the Wacom, you can get thin lines and thick lines easily as well. And because you can get thin and thick lines easily, you get this very nice line variation that gives your line art the character. So let's have a look here. Yeah, so here you can see thin lines, thin, thick, thin, and there are diagonal lines as well. This is a diagonal line. It's quite smooth. There's no noticeable diagonal line wobble here as well. And lines can taper quite well. Let me show you. You can get this tapered stroke. How well the lines taper sometimes will depend on the app you use. Let me show you how the lines taper on the XPPen. Is this the same brush? Oh, it is. Yeah, you can see how the lines taper. It's very smooth. And this is thin, thick, thin, thick. So you can draw very expressive lines with both pens. The pressure works really well with both pens, and both pens are very sensitive. For tilt, you know what? Let me just open a new file just to show you tilt. So this is the watercolor brush, and this has tilt. So if I tilt the pen like this, you can see the broad stroke. So this is tilt, and it works. So thin, thick, thin, thick. On the XPPen, let me see if I have enable or disable tilt first. I have disabled tilt because tilt doesn't work well, but let me show you what happens if I enable tilt. So we have thin, thick, and tilt. Now the problem here is When I hold the pen at my normal angle and try to write, you can see tilt would just activate. But for the Wacom, if I hold the pen at the normal angle, tilt does not activate. So I can write or draw without any issues, but on the XPPen, this will happen. So for this app, Concepts, which is my main drawing app, I actually have to disable tilt. So I can only rely on pressure. And thankfully, pressure still works really well here. On the XPPen, I actually have some notes here. So palm rejection doesn't work that well. So when you place your palm on the display while drawing, sometimes it may undo strokes. And sometimes there may be the occasional zoom in and out, which is also unintentional. So how well palm rejection performs sometimes will also depend on the app you use. And if palm rejection does not work well, you can use the included artist glove that's provided by XPPen, or you can go into the settings and disable the touch gestures for undo and use the soft keys for undo instead. Another thing I discovered is the XPPen tablet does not support 3 or 4 finger gestures. For example, when I draw here, I can use this to undo, 2 finger tap, undo. I have set 3 finger to redo, but it does not work here. On the Wacom tablet, I can use 2 finger tap to undo, 3 finger to redo, and 4 fingers to hide the UI. So I am actually quite surprised that this tablet actually supports 2, 3, and 4 finger gestures. Not many Android tablets support 2 to 4 finger gestures. Anyway, it's not really a big deal because not many drawing apps support like 2 to 4 finger gestures. Right now, I'm drawing on the XPPen, and the drawing experience is good. On both tablets, it's just better on the Wacom because there is tilt support and better support for palm rejection. Now, drawing on a matte glass surface feels really nice. There is this subtle tactile experience that you get on both tablets. Alright, to conclude, let's take a look at the notes that I have written. The XPPen Magic Drawing Pad does provide more features, but the drawing experience is better on the Wacom MovinkPad. So with the XPPen, you get micro SD card slot, 4 speakers that actually sound alright, the display port-in feature, there is face unlock, there is the case that's included, and this is compatible with a keyboard case that is sold separately. For the Wacom, the main advantages over the XPPen would be, well, the drawing experience is better because the pen performance is better, and the tablet supports 2 to 4 finger gestures. Because both tablets have the same processor and same amount of RAM, 8 gigs of RAM, the performance for both tablets is kind of similar. So the main differences would be, well, those differences that I have mentioned. And which tablet to get will depend on which features you value. If you want better drawing experience, go with the Wacom. If you want more features, go with the XPPen.